2nd of January, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay. So
I won't be able to stay with you, so I'll see you tomorrow, Metzia.
okay, Roy. All the best.
Take care. Be well, Roy.
Reilichem Chanukah.
Have a good day, Roy.
Okay, so we were in the middle of this question the Gemora is asking on Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Like 18 lines from the bottom. The Gemara said, well, the Shmuel, according to the view of Shmuel, Lama lo chashinin lepiroyin, ula kanunya. Shmuel is not choshesh for the concern that the star was paid and that there's a collusion between the lender and the borrower. Because Shmuel says that if in fact the borrower paid, so when he gives him the star, when the lender gives him back the star, he's going to tear it up. And like that, how can they make a collusion? Because the malva, the lender, he doesn't have any star to present to the best and to try to unlawfully take away from the purchaser. So accordingly, the Gemara says, how Michael Memor, how is Shmuel going to explain that what we said in the Mishnah, that we don't give it back to the lender because we're if it has a clause, a lien clause in it, because of this very concern. Okay, so that's how we got so far, and now the Gemara is going on with this comment that it's making. So we're up to the words hanicha. So this is the second to the last word in the line below L'Shmuel de Amar, and the first word in the line is L'Piroyin. Lo chashinin L'Piroyin, L'Kanunya, Mike Lememor, and then the Gemara says hanicha. We're going to go from the hanicha.
13A3, right-hand column, it kind of in the middle of the first paragraph.
Yeah, because it's in the middle of the Gemara statement here. Alan, you got the place?
Alan, you're muted.
Okay. 13A3, I want to start with note 17, notes of acquisition. The Mishnah presents no problem in the middle of the paragraph.
A little bit above that, Alan.
Okay. It is understandable.
Yes.
Okay. It is understandable if Shmuel holds the view of Rav Asi. Gemora Abbas Tare Hakad Ni Or, who says that the Mishnah in Bava Basra that permits having a loan document drawn up even if the lender is not present, speaks about notes of acquisition.
So we're gonna go, oh, yeah.
Commissioner presents no problem. Key miss me team Bishop more visitor Ray Hagashim. Shmuel will interpret our Mishnah when speaking about a note set of the acquisition type, so that the lien takes effect only from the actual date of the loan. If LE Soler Amar Adin Bacha Salmor the low. But if Shmuel holds the view of Abai, who says that the notes witnessed by the signature acquire my core more, what is there to say?
Oh boy. So the Gemara expects us to juggle what the Mishnah says here in Bava Metzia, what the Mishnah says in Bava Basra, and not only that, what Shmuel says, what Rav Asi says, and what Abaya says. Okay? That's why we have Zos Hanukkah. Okay, so let's go. Rashi, Hanicha.
Okay. Hanicha. Let's see where the Hanicha is in the Rashi. Okay, let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines up, or from the narrow line before it gets wide. Hanicha v'chulei. The e-kasha, and if it's a difficulty, al korcha, you're forced to say lo svirale. He doesn't hold like Abaya. The ika Abaya, because if he was like Abaya, svirale, he would hold my ira star. How would it be? How would you be a star of acquisition? Abaya, this to Abaya. Ein chiluk, there's no distinction between this one and that one. The field, the low hakana, even if it's not a star of acquisition, Nami also yachzir, he would have to return it. A will. And since the Shmuel lo chaya, Shmuel's not concerned liperon, that it was paid off. Lav pircha, there is no question who the modeh, because he admits, Abaya admits with the low that it's not mata staro yadad, that he's not holding on to the star in his hand. Kida amrin, and we say hilcha, therefore he wrote it to the lender below lova, and he didn't lend legamra. It wasn't a total loan. Below matal yada malam, and it never fell from his hand. Never left his hand.
Yeah, this word mata, lo mata liode, means it did not reach his hand, meaning that even though the document was written up uh, by the lova to give to the one that was gonna one that he was gonna give it to, but he in the end of the day he didn't do it. Lo mata liode meolam. It never reached the hand of the person that he was writing it for. So in that case, Rashi says that Abaya will be moded there where it didn't come into his hand. What will he be moded to? He'll be moded to the fact that the ability to collect is not doesn't go back to the time of the dating of the document, or the dating of the signatures. Okay. Wow. Whew. Okay. Well, so at the end of the day, the Gemora is saying, how is Shmuel going to explain the Mishnah? He wouldn't be able to explain it according to Rav Asi, because Rav Asi will tell you that the Mishnah is talking about not a star hakno. And so on such a star like that, the shibud of the on the karka takes place only at the time of the loan, and not at the time that the star was drawn up and the date written at that time. And so therefore that will explain why the Mishnah says we don't return the star to the malva, because we have a concern that he's going to collect based upon the star that says Nisan, but he really didn't lend the money until Tishrei. And if the purchaser who purchased it after Nisan but before Tishrei, he doesn't really, his property is not encumbered, because he bought his property before the loan was made.
Yes,
So I should order when you get
quarter
there.
of 7.
Order 7. Yeah, first.
Okay. So that would be good. That's why the Gemara says Hanicha. We would be able to explain Shmuel.
Let me get 8 of them, Jimmy, please. 8.
But according to Abaye, that is the question that the Gemara has. Shmuel is not choshesh for piroin and kenunya. So therefore, according to Abaye, the Gemara is saying, since Baya holds any star with even an ordinary loan document, the shibud of the karka takes place from the time that the witnesses sign on the document, and even if that's before the loan was actually made. So like that, how's Shmuel going to explain the Mishnah? Because Shmuel says, "Oh, we're not concerned for the possibility that the loan was already paid off, and that they arranged a collusion between the malva and the lova." And likewise, Rashi pointed out They were not going to be concerned about maybe the star was written in Nisan and the loan was made only in Tishrei because according to Abaya that's never a problem because he says it goes according to when the witnesses sign. That's when the lien on the karka happens. So according to that, there would be no reason for the Mishnah to say that we do not give it back. We don't give the loan document back that was fell in the street. We don't give it back to the malva. But the Mishnah says that we don't give it back to the malva. So that's what Shmuel has got to explain. Why don't we give it back to the lova Shmuel? So that's what the Gemora is going to now say. So we're up to Shmuel Muke Lemasnisen. And we call upon Lou to read the the Gemora.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot to mute it earlier. Shmuel Muke, Demasnisen, Ke She'ein Chayav Modeh. Pardon? Shmuel can interpret our Mishnah as speaking about a case where the debtor does not admit.
Yeah. So what does that mean? That means that the one that made that borrowed the money, he's not moda. What does it mean that he's not moda? He's not moda that he didn't pay it. Meaning to say, he's going to claim.
Ihahi.
Let's go to the Rashi. Shmuel Muki Lo Kashe'ein Chayav Moda. What is he not moda to? Oh, and this is the Rashi that we had trouble with the first time. So Bez Hashem will figure it out this time.
Shmuel.
Last Rashi on the page.
Shmuel admits Lo to him Ein Chayav, that if he's not Chayav, Shmuel basically establishes that if he's not Chayav, he admits it. The Ketiva, the star, in writing the star, Sha'amar, that says Lo, this loan, Lo Katafti, I didn't write it. Umazayef, it's a forgery. The in koma, if you would say Yikayem, it exists, the Chot Mo, with the signatures, Kaven since Shinafal, since it fell, Atra, that's Atra afterwards.
Israelite. Yeah, we say it's the stars now got a flaw in it.
It fell Atra. It's
questionable
document. It's a questionable document because
its validity is
the bad one. The Amrin, and he says, Mitnei, because Shapasel, that it's invalid. Lo Nazir, I'm not really careful about it. The Mahanminyan lay Lahala. What's the Haminyan? The numbers on it lay are no good.
Okay, we had something happened. Now we're back. Okay, so these last three words of the Rashi, and we will be imamin, we will believe him. Lahai, this one. Who's this one? The one that claims, in other words, the would-be Lova, the one that it says on this star that he's the Lova. We're going to believe his side of the story. His side of the story is that he says this document, I didn't write it. It's a forgery. That's what he's claiming. Now, so this is in spite of the fact that the document to us, on the face of it, I mean, we can't tell on the face of it, but Rashi throws in over here that this is even if the Malva will have the signatures established. Rashi says im toma yiskayim bechosamav. Why should we not give it back to the Malva? Let's say that the Malva has brought proof regarding the authenticity of these signatures. So Rashi is saying, nevertheless, the fact that this star was found, it raises a big question on the validity of this star. And especially in view of the fact that the Leva himself is jumping up and down and saying that the star is a forgery. So Rashi says that even in this case, where he authenticates the signature, so to speak, it's not we're not gonna go like we usually go with, if somebody authenticates the signatures of the star is a valid document. Because this document is highly questionable because it fell. And Rashi says if the document fell, it raises a red flag that it's probably puzzle. It's probably an invalid document. Because a valid document that a person can collect money with to collect the loan that he made, he doesn't lose that document. So that's the story over here. And so therefore, that's what Shmuel is saying. Shmuel is saying that's what the Mishnah is talking about. It's talking about this case. And therefore, we don't give the star back to the Malva. Okay. Yeah. On that, we go weiter with E Hachi. And we call upon Lou to read E Hachi.
Okay, let's see, where are we? E Hachi. If so, ki ein bahen acharayos nichasos. Then there is no provision for a lien on real property in the notes. So what we were saying was that it's a case where the debtor does not admit.
Back in a minute.
Lou, 420 today, you said? Lou, you said 420?
10:04, Alan, 3:50.
All right, all right,
3:50, because I'm going to be learning with Rabbi Blau.
right, okay, 350, right.
But I told my son I would help him with something, so I may have to be late. So if I'm going to be late, I'll call you, Yutz Hashem. So keep your phone on, please.
Okay, it's always on.
Okay.
All right. So if so, there is no lien in the note. I'm sorry.
Oh,
If-
yeah.
If there is no lien in the note, then why not return it? Amai Yachazir. Why not return it? If he,
Why should we return it? Is the Gemara's intention. Right? In other words, the Mishnah, we have to remember about 10 things over here in discussing this Gemara. And one of the things we got to remember is what it says in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that if it's got achrais nechasim in the star, so then we do not return it to the malva. But if it does not have achrais nechasim in the star, we do return it to him. So the Gemara is saying that Shmuel, right? Shmuel was trying to explain, why is it that we don't return it to him in the case where it's got achrais nechasim, where it's got a lien clause? And the Gemara said, because he's going to do collusion, or because he's going to use it shelo kedin against the purchaser. Star was written up in Nisan, and the loan wasn't made until Tishrei. Either those two things, but according to Shmuel, we got neither one of those concerns. So why is it that the Mishnah says, the Gemara says, we don't return it in the case where it's got this lien clause? So Shmuel came out and said, you don't want to know why? Because the guy is not the Lova, he's not Moda, ain't a chayav Moda. And Rashi said, he's not Moda. What does that mean? He's not Moda. He's not Moda that this star was ever written. If he's not Moda that the star was ever written, he's basically saying, I didn't write this star. It's a forgery. And Rashi says, so if so then even if so that's why we don't give it back. And now the Gemara is saying, if that's the reason why you don't give it back, so why would you give it back in the case where this false star, this forgery, does not have a lien clause on it? Even if it does not have a lien clause on it, why should you give it back to the Malva? It's a forgery. The whole thing is a forgery. That's the Gemara's question right now.
The boy said that the gate doesn't work from the outside, only from the inside.
That's
Okay.
what it does.
I'll look at it.
Got the question? In other words, Shmuel, the Gemara was trying to answer for Shmuel why it is the Mishnah in the case where the Mishnah says why do you not give it back, and based upon the answer that the Gemara gave for Shmuel, the Gemara is saying if according to that, but why in the other case would the Mishnah say you do give it back if there's no clause of achrais nechasim? If the star is the forgery, you don't give it back, right? Doesn't matter what it says in it. Okay, that's the Gemara's question right now. And now, you know what? The Gemara is really going, elaborating on it's in the question stage still. It's elaborating. So let's continue with the reading of the Gemara's question. If it's like Shmuel saying that they don't give it back because they think it's a forgery, so then even if it doesn't have this lien clause in it, why should you give it back to the Malva if you think it's a forgery? And now we continue with the question. Nihi deloi gabi.
Nihi delo gabe min ha day. Granted that the creditor cannot collect with such a note, according to Rebbe Meir, from encumbered property, i.e. from real property which is no longer in the debtor's possession, and from which the creditor can collect only if he has a lien against them.
And we're saying that this document does not have achrayus nechasim. So granted that we understand that he's not going to be able to collect from mishubadim, but says the Gemara, that's even more than that.
Mi b'nei charei mi gabe gabe, but from unencumbered property, i.e. from real property that is still in the debtor's possession, the creditor can indeed collect. How then can the finder be instructed to return the note to the creditor over the protest of the debtor that he will be unjustly harmed by this?
1 second, I don't get this now. We're saying Nehidlo gabe min mishabde, but b'nei chori magbe gabe. Oh, I mean, in other words, because he should be able to collect from property which is still in the possession of the loiva, of the borrower.
Oh, I have to let you know about the water.
Even though he says it's a forgery, according to Rashi. This is Rashi doesn't comment on this.
I'll let you know about the water.
Granted that the loiva, he doesn't admit to this star. He therefore doesn't admit to his obligation.
Site was turned into a private island paradise. MSC Cruises has spent about $500 million to turn an industrial.
Yeah, the language is a bit confusing over here. Is Amayachsir. Why should we give it back? Why should we give the star back to the Malva? In other words, granted that he won't be able to misuse this star by having it to get encumbered property, but property which is still in the possession of the loiva, he would be able to collect with such a document. I mean, if we gave it to the Malva, because the document just says that it doesn't allow for collection of encumbered property that has a lien on it. There's no lien clause. So, but property that's still in the possession of the loiva, the document could be used to collect from the loiva the property that has still in his possession. That's yeah. So therefore, why would we give it back? That's the point. Why would we give it back? He could certainly misuse it. If it's in fact a forgery, he's using a forged document to collect property from the loiva. So that's the Gemora's question. Let's see what the Gemara answers. Shmuel Latime. Alan, would you like to read Shmuel Latime?
Shmuel is consistent with his own view. Bava Shemuel, Shmuel said, Omer Hoyor Rabbi here say, that with a note of indebtedness in which there is no provision for lien on real property, the creditor cannot collect either from encumbered property below or from property free of encumbrance. Since he cannot collect with this note, there is no reason not to return the note to the creditor, even if the debtor denies the debt. Thus, the author of the Mishnah's ruling to return the note without a lien, Rabbi Meir follows his own view regarding a note of indebtedness without a lien. That it is a document without legal force. There is therefore no harm in returning it to the creditor.
Oh, that's the point. Very good. In other words, we don't give it back to him because it has any validity, but we give it back to him precisely because it has no validity whatsoever, and no harm can come from giving it back to him. It's totally useless. So that's what the Mishnah means when we say we give it back to him.
So
You can't collect with it whatsoever. So give him back his forged document that he wrote. That's what we're saying.
So we're assuming that the only way to collect is from property. You can't collect from movables.
No, that's what this means. Property which is B'nai Chori property is property which whether it's real property, whether it's movable property, you can't collect from anything. It includes portable property, movable property.
All right, the second part of this answer. Since the creditor cannot collect with this note, why should the finder return it to him? What use is it to him? The more answer said Rabbi Nassim Bar Ashaya, L'to al P to Lochiso Shell Amala. The note can be used to wrap over the mouth of the creditor's bottle. What does bottle come from?
Piece of paper, so we'll give it back to him. He wants to use this piece of paper. He won't be able to do anything with it in terms of collecting with it, but it is his piece of paper. So give it back to him. The Gemara is asking, why should you give it back to him if he can't collect from it? So the Gemara says, no, he could use it for whatever he wants to use it for. For example, the Gemara says he could use it to if he doesn't have a bottle stopper, he can use it as a bottle stopper. You ever see anybody put their forged loan document on top of their soda bottle to keep the fizz in? So That's what he could use it for. So it belongs to him, so we give it back. Okay. We go further in the Gemara. Lou, you want to read the rest of the? Una hadre lahu laloiva, says the Gemara.
Ki ma'achar she'ein.
No,
No. Where are we? Let's see.
it's the second to the last line from the bottom.
Second to the last line from the bottom. Amar Rav Nasan.
On Yud Gimel Amid Aleph.
Yud Gimel Amid Aleph. Second line from the bottom. Let's see. Una hadre lahu lalova.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. Let us instead return the note to the debtor. Latzor al pi telo chi so shel lova. To use the note to wrap over the mouth of the debtor's bottle. In other words, the note is valueless, but it's valueless as a contract, but it's not valueless as a piece of paper. So give it to the borrower, and let him use it for whatever he wants to use it for. He can wrap fish with it. The more answers lova who, but it is the debtor. Hooray! Damar lo hayu devarim ma'olam, who claims that the whole matter never occurred.
Right.
Since the debtor claims that he never drew up this note and that the note is forged, he surely has no claim that the note be given to him to wrap it over his bottle. The debtor has admitted by his claim that the paper of the note never was his.
Right.
So don't
Yeah.
give it to the give it to the lender, because the lender is the one that had it forged.
Okay.
I think our time is up, Rabbi.
Okay. And a round of applause for Yud Gimel Amid Aleph. Wow. That
Thank
was
you.
quite a page. Okay, everybody.
Okay.
Very
Still
happy
Hanukkah.
Zos Hanukkah. Bezrat Hashem.
So was it about
That's how long.
Lou, about 4:20, 4:10?
350.
What's that?
350.